Yeah.
No, it was just. My dad engagements for the boobs.
Yeah, remember. So, I saw one of the Grammy, which is the Brooks, and I ended up with that was a very nice. Man, I wouldn't get any beans. So did it.
Hey, yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah. I need to warm up a little Oh, okay. So, what Jones? Tom. You got spot. But yeah,
No, right. It's absolutely. He finds that really hiding. It's a bit of a spiritual problem. I was going
Yeah. Somebody done is old. You can't. It's going on there. These problems are different. Like I. I'm not well, so I think it's so last so you was just like just waiting for things. Anybody like all the stuff you on that one club. Get up on his not. I didn't know. Mark out. I'm working every weekend. I don't mind. I look straight. So Friday, Saturday, I don't see them. Not too close. Yeah, just well, next time I'm going to do my yeah. Yeah, well, also, you guys also here for your time. You've been an awesome guest speaker today. I'd like to bring him in the beginning of the year because as we're resetting our years, he's going to give you basically the background of his 60 touch database system. So excited to have him come present. Some of you are new, but he was here last year, had a great turnout and a lot of engagement. So excited to have him speak. But we're going to kick off with Pledge of Allegiance.
But I believe it's to the flag of the United States of America, to the republic for which it stands, one nation, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Business cards, Steve, Linda, she will be doing business card. Yes, yeah, I need to get it. We got a little solar. I'm getting excited spring's coming, so, hopefully the snow doesn't happen on Sunday, but just start to enjoy, yeah, I know, I feel you. And, start to enjoy the outside, so we got like little solar stone kits, things for like outside as we get into these nicer evenings. We got Stanley, that was extra from last year, transaction and monthly, so we'll run those same things, so think about that. Oh yeah, the Who's the Agent thing. Anyone want to take a guess? This is for a t-shirt.
The sheriff?
Yeah, Bob got it first. When was that?
She said it.
Circle what?
Popped up.
I'll be a team player. I'll give Desiree one too.
Senior prom 17.
Senior prom 17. You want to say what year? No, we'll leave that disclosed.
85.
85. 95. All right, let's do gratitude. Yeah, a lot of people, we always take a lot of them. Yes. But something great had to happen in the last 30 days. Nobody?
Grateful for my niece. My niece is growing up. It's my first niece.
First
and
niece? This is the one they withheld the name from you until
Yeah.
2 days old.
Literally.
There you go.
She's doing her best. So I'm just grateful for the opportunity to be here alive to see it.
For sure.
Just grateful for my KW family, and special thank you to again to Belinda. In my time of struggle, you picked me up early in the morning and make sure I made it to trainings. Thanks to Bob for these delicious cookies. And thanks to Allah for my 10 new clients.
We're gonna be hoping for like dreary days on the before office meetings. Bob would just bring cookies. Good. Well, let's get some more.
I'll thank Brock for coming out of his busy schedule to meet with me. We had a lot of good ideas, but it was nice to have a meeting where you just opened to share. Thank you. Thank you.
We got a few referrals, thank you. Dave, Paul, Josh for showing up when I couldn't. Ethan, we just listed a new lease. And Nicole, I'll tell you earlier, working on a tattoo shop.
Oh, I bet a tattoo design. Thank you.
Thank you, everyone. I appreciate it.
Couple more?
God.
Yeah.
To thank Tony. It's been helping me with a friend of mine whose church is looking for a building. And she just sent me a text this morning and said, we're on, so we have to do the contract.
There you go.
Thanks to Tony, did a Zoom call for me and everything.
We have right now.
In work or closed?
Very.
I think there's like, I was just sharing. The lady here is like, I'm on 4 follow-ups right now today that I couldn't even get to.
Yeah.
Just closed one last week. And my big one foreclosed on me. That's just a lesson
Couldn't
learned.
beat the,
Thanks to William, he helped me. I said, Tony, I'm sorry, but this one, can't do nothing about it. It wasn't even foreclosed. It was just a deed buyback. It was like
yeah,
that
too
quick.
quick. Yeah.
Yeah,
I mean, we look back. Last year was so crazy. We took over it. When did you join? When did we do commercial? Man, so we're not even a year yet and you're swamped. So it shows how much we need the commercial and
Keep you busy.
I have somebody who's willing to take the reins on this, so thank you. I'm gonna actually, you said Will, I gotta think Will. Will is, even when he's not around, he is accessible. When he went to Europe, people still could call him even with the time delay. And even when he's like away, he's always answering his phone. So we have an amazing broker. And I appreciate Will a lot.
Yeah.
Anybody else? Yeah,
Not
Jared.
an agent, but I wanted to show some love to Brock. We had a one-on-one. We actually did some golfing, hit some balls. We had a great conversation about scaling up, about
Driving?
it was one of those like screens.
The simulator.
Yeah, the simulation was pretty cool. We had a great conversation about scaling up, business in general. Just was great to, like minds but different different perspectives, like to get that kind of feedback and have that kind of conversation. I appreciated that.
I moved recently too, and used Genesis services to move. Everything went smooth, easy, breeze. So, yep.
With you qualify for the good parts.
Yeah.
Good myself, any qualified. Awesome. Last call?
I'll also give a shout out to Jared and his crew. My aunt and uncle recently, and they're super awesome, but they're very particular. And they just went on and on that they were so good, so good. So thank you.
Good, thank
Very,
you.
very.
What every owner wants to hear, right? Good feedback. Brady, you had something?
Yeah, I apologize for the name, but anytime I post something on the Facebook page and recommendation videos.
Come on, Dana. Wait, is this 10 minutes?
Huh?
10 minutes. Dana time. We're just gonna touch, friendly reminder, through our cultural moments, we always need the toilet paper, we'll give back, Linda heads all that, so bring it in, Venmo her if you can. Amanda, we're working with the clothing bin, we actually were trying to get delivered this past week, but with all the snow banks, it's just really hard to get a direct location right now, so hopefully that's here within the next 30 days, weather permitting, so keep a lookout for that. Any RAC updates we should know about? No, pretty quiet right now, so perfect. Nothing. Okay, so we're started off, we just completed our first month of the new year. And if you saw the Facebook post, I mean, we hit a lot of January records. We talked a little bit about it in the meeting previous to this, and you can see the records we broke. And that's just the month of January. But the biggest one was that closed sales volume. The last highest was 21. Like if you lived through that, if you had a pulse in real estate, you were going to be successful. It was just a great year. All the records were there, and then we started to see that shift. But we did almost 55 million in closed sales volume. The last time was 39 million. So that or that. As far as everything else, again, you can see the January records, but we started off the year awesome. I mean, this is the activities in November and December. So usually we get into this kind of winter's. Did we lose power out there? Usually we get into this winter slump. And I think you guys really excelled with that. We paid out almost 1.2 billion or 2 million in commissions. 2 billion, that'd be awesome. If we get there one year, we're all celebrating. But and we're actually sitting at 243 agents right now. So we're quickly coming up with the 250 milestone already. But yeah, great month, guys. And this is a little sneak peek. So I don't have the new board yet. We were trying to get that done. There's a lot of back and forth with editing, but as you can see, this is kind of going to be the layout that we're going to be doing for our new board that'll go in replace of that one. And as we grow, everyone loves their production, the recognition, and we want to make sure that we're showing off your hard work. So we started to divide up teams and groups now. So teams will be between 2 and 5 individuals. Groups will be 6+. So that's how we're going to categorize that moving forward. And that gives some of like the smaller teams that are still doing a really great job, gives them time to be awarded on the board. So that's going to be kind of the new board style. It's going to look a lot better. I think we got backlighting going on, some different things going on, but that's in production now. I hope it's done by next month. Thoughts on the board? Do we like it? Is it better? Great. Inclusive. So with that being said, we want to just kind of go into the top 5 here. Greg, Jean, Sonia took the individual spots. Brock took both team categories for volume and units. We'll do round of applause after. And then Justin, Greg, Jean, both on the individuals 4. Liz, Colby, and Neil. 3rd place. This is where we get into some of our teams. Deb Burkheimer, amazing. Is that your record month?
Yes.
Record month, awesome job. Mike Firestone had a big month too. He had 3 units, but his volume was also really great. Then you got Colby, Neil, Liz team, Nick Feudal team takes over the number 3 for the team side. Mike Firestone hits that 1.2 million. Tim Pistler got the 6 units. Flinchball takes both number 2s. Kenley and Jada had an amazing month as a team, and they had almost 2 million, 6 units, and the number one spot. So we had Tim Fisser out of Chambersburg. Justin takes the top spot. That's the first time he's at number one, but 7 units. Adrian, monster month. I mean, it was 57 units, 12 million. Probably no sleep, not much sleep.
Actually better than normal.
Better than that. I guess good results can do that, right? And then Lane's team. So congratulations to all you guys. Let's give them a round of applause. Welcome a lot of new agents over the last 30 days. So we got Patrick there in the back. He's joining Jeremy Tolly's group. Jonathan Dark right here in the middle. He's joining Randell's team. Christina Jordan, she's on Randell's team, right?
Yes.
Yes, yeah, I start to miss some. We have so many coming in. Angelica Ramos, I saw her. You're on Phil and Maria's team. Philip Schorner, he was agent before. He's actually joining Tony and Nick's team in the commercial division. Levi's with Brock's Millions team. Justin Harmon, welcome him back. He's going to be working with Nick Feudal on the acquisitions and retail side of the investor. Laura is a new agent as well. She came with you, Desiree, right? She knows you?
Oh, yes.
Yes. Yeah. Yeah, so Laura came in right around when Desiree did, and Desiree just joined with the Phil and Maria team. Itmar and Michael Spiro is on it. Danielle Champ, she's in the Keys program. Danielle, I saw you. There you are. Emmanuel, he's a transfer from another brokerage. Dieris back in the corner. We all know Dieris. Welcome you guys, and I think that's it. Yeah, that's a lot. A lot of people. I don't know how to have them. Upcoming events and things that we have, just mark your calendar, keep an eye out for everything. So Tuesday, Adrian's going to be bringing the class that was postponed from and rescheduled from January. Basically building out systems, routines, consistency that equals results. I think he's on it, yeah, right? He's done a very good job the last couple of months. So make sure you come and see him. And then a lunch and learn with Andrew and infamous Kate Precious. I don't know where she is. Oh, there she is. They're going to do that's a lunch and learn. So unfortunately, I was sick for the hometown one, but it looked like you guys had a pretty good turnout, right? So I think we just keep feeding you. You're going to show up. Is that the deal? So yeah, we have that, and then the journey to becoming a $10 million agent. I think where's Lucas? Lucas is back in the corner. So Lucas had his best year ever, right? And you hit that milestone, 10 million. And people oftentimes want to know, like, what did he do? He 23 years old?
Yeah.
That's usually when you get older. Yeah, 23 years old, and it's kind of like, how did he get there? So he's going to give you the secret sauce to how to do that. That is on March 10th. Anybody that wants to do the Last Man Family Reunion, we're flying out Saturday. So you can join us down there. There's a couple of us going. And then we have March 13th, we have the Bowl-a-thon, which Rayak usually put on in October. They shifted it into the spring. So that'll be coming up. And then our awards ceremony for 2025 will be taking place on Thursday, March 19th. Look for that, more information on that. We're going to do the Hanover Country Club like we have in the past. So stay tuned for more information. Belinda, you had your hand up.
I just wanted about the Bill sign. Don't forget the Bill sign when you're on family reunion.
Go ahead.
Oh, okay.
Discount.
You wanted to. Build a Sign is a sponsor for Kelby Williams Family Reunion. And because I go every year and I use Build a Sign, I always get a promotion that they're doing early. Anybody who needs signs, they're giving 60% off right now through March 3rd, and I have a code. So if you're looking for a sign, now's the time.
Yeah, if you're rebranding, you're doing a different custom sign, maybe you want to freshen it up. That's a good code, 60% off. Reminder for our vendors, like I see a lot of you guys, and I love the Facebook group. You're always looking for different people that help you with stuff. As we build this vendor program more and more, we're trying to really cover everything that you guys need as agents, whether it's inspection related, appraisal, or just general information. So make sure you just go to our vendor page. Julie basically has all the contact information if you have a hard time finding it, but you can see we already have a couple pages of it. A lot of times we try to get them in here just to kind of speak and get that one-on-one FaceTime. So don't forget about your vendors. Did you have giveaways? Did you have cards?
I would love to give
Okay,
back.
go
Yeah,
ahead.
absolutely.
Yeah, go ahead.
Yeah, I like the opportunity. I'm gonna give out some gift cards. Any raise of hands, people that have referred You Relax Moving in the past 2 months. I know about you guys.
Is this the honor?
Who else do we got? Amanda, I remember you as well. Is that pretty much it for hands that referred You Relax? Just the 3? Okay, raise my hand.
That'll start happening. I can see it. $25 Belmont. That's you wanted, or you just wanted to get those out? Joe, did you have anything else real quick before I move on to Andrew? Is that it? Okay, perfect. Andrew, you're up.
Let's start off with a little bit of trivia. The last time, what year was it? We were 30 days average market in York County.
2019. 18.
2017.
26.
9.
50.
2012.
So we're repeating 2016.
2020.
2020. Who said 2020?
Oh, I didn't. I was just gonna say.
All right, one more. 2020. 2020.
Someone fact check them real quick.
But I'll pull it from the RAAC statistic before I came down. All right. The last, I should say. What year was it when the median sales price was 157?
2010.
2016. 16? 2016. All right, so spring market reality, what's driving buyers' decisions right now? Financing strength, payment strategy have been winning offers. I will tell you this. Strength of pre-approval, I feel like matters more than ever right now. Payment comfort, what we've seen is payment comfort has been determining buyer confidence in how they write the offer. People that are comfortable with the payment, I've seen them write one offer and they're writing one way, and then they're writing another offer, they're writing it another way because they're more comfortable with the payment. So it brings into trying to give them options to structure the loan accordingly, to like get their payment down a lot of times, to get it into that comfort zone. Listing agents are choosing speed and certainty, making sure that your buyers understand the least amount of friction that they can bring to the table on a deal has been critical. And then, strategy is obviously a key piece. What makes difference in the pre-approval? Credit review beyond just score, income analyzed, not estimated. We see a lot of deals where income just gets estimated on the fly quick. Down payment and reserves verified, clear lender communication. Like the listing agent calls them, are they answering the phone, right? Like we try to call the listing agent. That's a big one for us. Underwritten approvals, we try to underwrite everything as it comes to our desk just to strengthen up the approval, because a lot of times that's tipping the scale for people. Buyers shop payment, not just price. This is a big thing we've seen where we're doing estimates for people and they're like knowing the house purely based on payment. I think if I look back at 2020, 2021, 2022, like rates were 3%, 2%. People were just rolling with whatever, right? What I've seen is like that payment comfort has, reduced renegotiation risk. Like if they're happy with the payment, they're like all forward on the deals. It seems like these days, not everyone, but it seems like if you can get them there on payment, they seem happier. Structured offers, we've been structuring them with buy downs. It's not often that you're going to get seller help, but we've used seller help to do permanent buy downs where you're buying down the rate, and I'll show you some examples, but that's something that seems to be like sticking with a lot of people. We had a girl just 2 days ago. She's like, I didn't even know I could do that. I could buy the rate down, like money wasn't as much of an object for her. And she's like, this is awesome. I'd rather buy that rate down and have that lower payment because people are skitsy about the payment. You're dealing in this time, this high inflation time, and this market right now. People can't get groceries for what they used to get them for. Like everybody is ultra concerned on payment. Here's an example, and I don't know if you can see this, like 350,000. I think the payments at an interest rate of 6 1/8 with not buying the rate down, it's like 26.78. If you pay a point to buy the rate down, it drops it down $100. So I think it's important to give people options. We always just assume that we like know what the sticking point is, but if there is a sticking point and you're not, if you're involved in the dialogue and they're like, oh, the payments are, what don't you like about this? Or you see an estimate and like the last 4 houses they looked at, the numbers were totally different. Same thing with FHA loans. It's almost $110, $120 swing. I think this one was 26.76. If they paid a point, it was like 25.60. It looks like I can't see that small.
How much is a point?
It depends on the day. Sometimes you pay 1% of the loan amount. Like this scenario, 1% is 3 and some change, like $3,400, and it cut a 0.5% rate. So on any given day, that could be 0.75%, it could be 0.5%, it could be 3/8. But it's important to look at it and start that kind of dialogue with people. Like, a lot of times you'll have a lender who's working on a transaction who like you didn't refer to. It's just they're part of the package, right? Like they already came pre-approved. Like sometimes as an agent, you got to step in and say, have you talked to them about buying points? You know what I mean? Like what that might look like for you. And I think we inherently assume what everybody wants to do, but I think make sure that they're aware that they can do it. You know what I mean? I think we see deals all too often come together. I would say probably right now, probably 40% of people we see paying points to buy the rate down. They feel like rates are hitting kind of this new bottom where like 2 years ago it was buy the house, date the rate, right? Now it's like, hey, the pendulum shifted a little bit. We're probably getting close to what the bottom will be. Let's just buy down. We're probably not going to have the opportunity to refinance. The Fed has stance on mortgage-backed securities has changed significantly where they said they're not going to buy mortgage bonds. The president's pushing, people too, but they haven't wavered on it. So until there's something different there, like I think if you get into mid-5s, like that's probably the new low, Our market in York County remains crazy fast. I mean, I think average marketing times when I look back, they hadn't shifted since 2020. Under 30 days has been basically pre-COVID, Remaining buyers who haven't bought, like I said, they're highly payment sensitive right now. And I think it's just the cost of living is so wild right now. Sellers, all they're looking for is clean execution, certainty, less friction on the deal. And I'm not saying go out and waive inspections and do all the things. That's for you and your buyer to decide. But the cleaner the deal you have, it's going to present less friction to them. Strong financing reduces that friction. So making sure they're approved, even if they come in approved, like get them to talk to somebody that's local. It's going to help your offer, whether it's me or whoever. Like a local pre-approval is going to hold a lot more weight than somebody who's not local. I think if I could say like what to do differently this spring, loop agents in as you're writing offers to get numbers early. Like if you're going to see a house on Friday, get them Tuesday, Wednesday, look at options with them, give them time to kind of digest that information. Use concessions strategically. If you should get on that house that you can negotiate all $5,000, look and see if you can position that money to do a permanent rate buy down, to do a temporary rate buy down, to get that payment down. Because I'm telling you, everyone I talk to right now, it's payment, 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 payment. And it hasn't been that way for all, I would say I've been doing this 20 some years and the last 2 to 3 years have been the worst, but recently it's been really, really all about payment, payment, payment. So any questions on any of that? Basically,
Explain it all. Did a great job.
try to keep it quick.
Thank you, Andrew. Next up, Hometown. And I think we got all 3 of them. Brooke, yeah.
Let's make a grand entrance for us.
Hello, everybody. This is Shannon. For those who are at the lunch and learn, have not met her yet. I recognize her from the dance floor. If you at the Kelly. She likes to come around. She is our admin that behind the scenes a lot. So, in speaking of the lunch and learn fencing, I just want to thank everybody that came. I think it's a fantastic turnout. We learned a lot. And that's just kind of quickly what we're going to talk about, because that deadline is coming March 1st is when the fencing review starts. Think we, yeah.
Can you just recap it for the ones that weren't there, to really what that is about?
Yeah. You guys remember, March 1st is when the fencing reporting is required from the Department of Treasury. And what that means is if you have a buyer in cash, that is an entity, an LLC, a corporation, a trust, you're going to be required to do this reporting. And then what they're going to do is they're going to take a look at your bank accounts. You're going to have to submit extra information to settlement agents. What else do you want to add to that? A lot of work. We at Hometown, we have outsourced this to a third-party vendor. So any contracts that are starting to come in with a March closing date that is cash, an entity, we're starting to roll this. So you're going to start hearing from the people that we are outsourcing it for, which we're going to pass out yours.
There's also you're gonna see this in the title commitment now, because there's a clause that we need to add that is in the title commitment.
Yeah, it's passed.
And this is the end of the road.
It's pretty much on the first page is from our underwriter. Just real quick again, just tell you what is required, what triggers the fencing reporting. And then the back side we put is just a template from realtors.com that gave us a letter you can share with your buyer explaining what fencing is, if they qualify for what needs to be reported. You can pass this info to them so they're not freaking out why they gotta provide extra stuff. It's different. Yes, and another thing to keep in mind with this, if you're required to report for fencing and your buyer does not submit the information that we need, we are legally not allowed to put, we can't. Not allowed to, we could go to jail, not to jail. Our third party vendor is gonna keep us up in the loop, let us know if that buyer submitted everything, they got the green light, we'll close as scheduled. If they're missing information, the company we use is gonna let us know. They're gonna be the ones that harass your clients with info, email, phone call, everything, trying to get the info so we can meet the closing deadline. So if people can't, just know it's out of our control. Say if you can't go, your buyer not submitting the LLC job, buyer not submitting their bank report or whatever they want. You gotta understand, help us get your buyer to submit the info so we can stay on track for closing. We understand everything. Sometimes everything lines up after another closing stuff. One other thing, with that, using a third-party vendor, it's called a pass-through fee. Since we're using the vendor, they charge us $120. We will charge the buyer $120. We're not going to eat that cost. They're going to the buyer. We're allowed to do that. And that's what we're going to do. Is like I said, only for cash deals, entities, corporations, LLCs, trusts. You just have a buyer that's cash. This does not trigger the fencing. And Tina's here.
Yeah.
No.
Of all weeks, I asked her about she checked with RAYAC. They are actually working on, I don't know if it's an addendum or they're gonna redo the agreement sale. They're actually putting it in there so you guys can have that signed. If you remember, when they were here, Carrie talked about that, making sure you put something in on your last page that covers that FinCEN ruling. So you're not held accountable in any way, shape, or form. So they are working on it. That's all she told me. You can look for something. I think she said you missed one meeting, whatever. It'll probably be June or July before we actually see something, but know that it's coming.
Lastly, if you're a shareholder with Hometown, just want to let you know that the K1s are almost done. I will have them done by Friday and they'll be going out on Friday. That's true. So you're going to start their taxes. We're going to do a quick drawing and then we'll get out of the way.
I have a question. Is it like if we have an investor that buys regularly, do they have to do a separate report for every single week? Okay.
Yep.
And it is even if they're using hard money.
Yes.
A hard money loan.
Unless
they
they are
AML
right.
lender.
If they're an AML lender, then we don't. We can ask the lenders that.
They're always gonna trigger the fencing reporting as well. So, but yeah,
But it's
a report every single time. Once we start having the docs and your client LLC has it all together, it's the same report that they every time.
The only thing I do remind you of is a lot of times I see that people like to do a new LLC for each property they buy. They're gonna do a
Yeah,
report.
here.
Yep. They're doing a report.
Sorry.
Oh, crap.
Operating agreement, all that. All right, probably for January, both offices combined, January, looks for the month. Seen
You know, I will roll them up like that.
One again. Any other questions for us?
Thank you. All right, we got the man of the hour, Mr. David Hook. I first met Dave going to Southwest Air. You were on that thing. We were going to Texas. It was April. We got into Harrisburg. We came in New York. And remember when he had his laptop open and it was like Goodwill Hunting style system. Like it was insane. So fortunately, we were able to create a really nice relationship from that. He's been grateful and gracious enough to come and share his systems that he built. And I'm gonna give the floor to you. So Ray here, just kind of keep it hover here. Just quick. You start moving it all around. You can do that. Does that work? Look at that. You figured it out.
Well, good morning, everybody. Thanks for coming to hear about the database blueprint. Who was here the last time I talked about database blueprint like a year ago? Raise your hand. Okay, like 4 or 5 of us. Good. So if you've heard it before, there'll be a few redundancies. You're gonna hear some of the same information, but I'll say it in a little bit of a different way. We added a few things that probably didn't happen before. Raise your hand nice and high if you have a database of 50 people or more with their contact information somewhere written down. Raise nice and high. Okay, so that's pretty good. Most of the room. Raise your hand, no judgment. If you have that database of 50 people or more with contact information and you're keeping in touch with them, let's say at least twice a month. And by keeping in touch, I don't mean you're necessarily talking to them, but I mean you're reaching out to them either with an impression. So direct mail, email, video, text, a pop by, a call, any of the above. Twice a month, 24 times a year. Raise your hand nice and high. Okay, so it was almost the whole room before. Now we're down to maybe 20% or so. How about raise your hand if you do all of that and you actually talk like live. And by live, I mean it could be an active text exchange, but it's like real time, or voice to voice, or face to face at some sort of an event to your whole database at least 4 times a year. We got one. Congratulations. That's awesome. Wherever you are on that journey, we have a little bit of something for each of you. So if you don't have a database, we'll talk about how to build one. If you have one and you're having trouble getting contact information or touching in with your database, we're going to talk about how to communicate with your database. And if you are communicating with impressions to your database, but you're not connecting voice to voice with your database, we're going to talk about that a little bit. Last question before we get started, and this just helps me know where to pause on this presentation. We've been doing this about 3 years and every room's different. We've had anywhere from 5 people to 250 people in a room, sometimes big brokers, sometimes just, newer folks just getting started. So we want to know where to pause and unpack a little bit more detail for you guys to give you the most value. I'm curious, this last question, most of you lowered your hand when I said, are you keeping in touch with your database with a live interaction at least 4 times a year? There was only one person in the room that said that. And yet when I said, who has a database, everybody in the room almost raised their hand. What is keeping you, what's your hesitation of actually talking to your database live? What's your hesitation? Just shout it out, no judgment. Is it time? What else?
Disorganization.
Disorganization. Okay, anybody else?
Fear of rejection.
Fear of rejection. Thanks for your abilities. Does anybody else have that? Fear of rejection? Does everybody know what to say? Does anybody ever feel like when they're calling their database, they're feeling a little too salesy, like they're trying to sell their friends something, and they might get rejected, and that tears the relationship a little bit up? So a lot of times it is time, and disorganization may fall into that a little bit. We're just out of time. We're a little unorganized, but also we see over and over again the hesitancy in the companies that I own. which are brokerages and sales teams and stuff, they hesitate because of a fear that they're going to come across as salesy and get rejected by people that they already know, like, and trust. And so I want to talk about that a little bit when we get into this. So today we're going to touch on my journey. We're going to share a little bit about why, when I stumbled upon on the database, I started in business when I was 22, 23, and I didn't have a database for the first couple of years. And when I stumbled upon the database, it really transformed my business. So we're going to explain why you hear it in the KW atmosphere so much. Who's read the Red Book, Millionaire Real Estate Agent? Yeah, so page, in I think it was 134 to 144, you're gonna start to see the database come out and all of the pros and cons of having a database in a 36 touch program. So it's really a saturated concept in the Keller Williams ecosystem. So we're going to talk about why the database performs at a higher return on investment than any other lead source. And then I'm going to just show you how we do our database touch program in one of my businesses. I'm just going to peel back the onion and show you exactly what we do. And then we'll just touch on AI a little bit and how you can utilize artificial intelligence with your database program. I'll give you a gift, a handbook. I do have John somewhere here. He's probably in the back, and he's over here. You can talk to him afterwards. You can schedule an appointment with him. He's not going to charge you for that. He and his team run database touch programs for my businesses. He has 50 or so clients, small businesses, like property managers, but also realtors all over the country that he does marketing for. And he does database programs to make sure that real estate agents and teams keep in touch with their database. So you're welcome to lean on him for a free strategy session if you want to learn more about that. And you can get free advice from him. You can also hire him, and he has entry-level stuff to what he does for my team and everything in between. So all sorts of investment levels if you want to work with him. So we're gonna end on that. But let's start with my journey. So that's me sometime in my 20s. I'm 45 now. You can see I was a long time ago because I had a camera on my neck. And that was back when you took pictures of your own listings. And I had a hammer on my belt buckle, and I put my sign in with, is anybody old enough that they had the 2x4 on top of the yard sign, and you had to count, you have to get some head nods. So that's so you didn't bend the sign. I started out going door to door. How old are you?
24.
24. When did you start?
When I was 18.
Okay, so a little bit sooner than me. I started going door to door when I was probably 22. And that's how I built my whole business, going door to door. And I did it on my rollerblades. And I was in a suit. I was in a suit on my rollerblades. And I started going just my feet. But it was really slow. And so when I put on my rollerblades, I got 4 times the amount of houses that I got with just my shoes on. So I did 3 neighborhoods: Meeting House Heights, Nottingham, and Chapel Hill. And those 3 neighborhoods had about 180 houses each. And I would hit those neighborhoods over and over again every quarter. And I would knock on the door, and they would shut the door, and I would move on. But I kept going back, and every once in a while, if it was cold enough or rainy enough, they'd keep the door open for a moment because they felt bad for me. And I always had the tax record with me, and I'd say, hey, Mr. Smith, my name's Dave Hook, young local realtor, trying to build a business. Don't need you to buy or sell your home with me right now. But I just love to be a resource in Meeting House Heights, so that if home values are changing, or you want to know what your neighbor's house sold for, you just need some free advice from a local realtor. I'm a phone call away. Is that okay? Say sure, so they can shut the door. Then I go back a couple months later and talk to them again, ask them, if they needed any referrals for vendors for spring cleaning or landscaper, or somebody could do gutter cleaning, or anybody I could recommend. And they'd say no and shut the door. But then I go back and I write them a handwritten note, and then I go back and do a follow-up. They tell me about their kids, and then they invite me into the living room. And before long, it was 2, 3, 4 years later, and I had built a database of people that I knew, liked, and trusted. And I didn't have that when I started, but after going door to door for years with consistency, I had that group of people that I honestly felt like if they knew somebody that was going to buy or sell, I would be the first real estate agent that came to their mind because I spent minutes and hours just earning their trust. But it took a lot of time. And that's how I built my business. But the problem is that when I kept doing that, my business grew. I only had 24 hours in the day. And so I started to burn out and I started to get overwhelmed. And fortunately, through a lot of prayer and almost quitting real estate, I did technically quit real estate 7 times. 7 different times. I was like, I'm done. I can't do it anymore. People talked me back into it. And finally, I stumbled across this idea of the database, which I had sort of had now through all that work that I did on my rollerblades. And now I had this, but now somebody put language to it and they were like, you know, if you build a database, your life can be really easy because in real estate, because you can systemize it. And these people, as they have life change, you'll be the first agent that comes to mind, and your business will go from prospecting based to working by referral. And that's the concept that really transformed my business. And so that's a picture of a headache. If you've never seen a headache, that's a legitimate migraine. And I started getting them in my late 20s. I don't know if this snapshot of my business was exactly when I got that headache, but it wasn't a bad business. I was doing 12 million in sales, about 55 transactions in my 20s. Gross commission was about 350,000. We didn't have any giving programs in our businesses like we do today, but on the outside, it would look like a pretty successful business. But on the inside, I was really burnt out. I was overworked and I was just having a hard time. People often ask when you contrast that with your business today. And so, you know, what's the big difference? So we have 6 businesses. This is one of the businesses. I don't work in any of the businesses. So we have people that run those businesses. I haven't sold a home since 2017 or 18. So it's been about 7 years. I don't know how to log into MLS. I don't know how to show a house. When I have to list my rental properties, I have to get an agent on one of my businesses to do that for me. They laugh at me because I try and price the properties. And if a client ever calls me, if they can find my phone number, I try and give them pricing advice. And I'm like 5 years behind what their value is. I'm way off. So I have to use agents in our businesses. And this is one of the businesses, the real estate sales business. And, you know, it's a bigger business than before. So before it was 12 million in sales. Now it's 120 million or more in sales. And it's a almost $4 million top line business. It gives away money to people in financial crisis. The nice thing about this business is I don't have an office in this business. So I don't sell the business. I don't have an office there. I have an office away from there. And I go in there when they invite me in there, really. And it allows me to spend more time with my family. But people often say, what happened? Like there was the nightmare and now things look better. And there's 5 things that happened that I've been able to separate out and say, and I honestly don't think I did it. Like my faith's really important to me. It was like I was in a really bad dark spot. And I was introduced to some things and I just fortunately they were like the right things. And there were like 5 things. But the first thing out of the 5 things was that somebody handed me the concept of building a database in your business. And when I took a year and I did that, it was the first domino of 5 things that really transformed my business. And I can honestly say without that and those other 4 things, the business wouldn't have changed. And I feel like I would have been stuck at that ceiling of overwhelm. So that's why I want to talk to you about the database, because I wish somebody would have talked to me about the database when I was in my 20s before I went door to door on my rollerblades for 4 years and built the database that way, because there's a much easier way to build a database than going door to door in rollerblades. So that's what we're going to talk about. That sound good? Yeah. Okay. All right. So why did the database change everything so much when I learned how to do it in real estate? So the first one is, it says pre-built trust. So everybody get their phones out, their calculators. Get the calculator app on your phone out. So I learned that if I meet somebody at a house and show them a home, do they trust you the first time you meet them at the house if it's cold? No, they don't trust you. They don't trust me. Most of them don't. Maybe a really trusted person does. So I gotta show up and I gotta show them I'm not trying to sell them this house, and I'm like, trying to look after them and maybe even point out things that might hurt them in this house. And I have to then follow up afterwards and do what I said I was going to do. And then I have to finally write a contract. You can take pictures, yeah. Finally write a contract with them and do what I say I'm going to do and go to closing. And maybe at the end, I give them a hug, and maybe I can say then that they know me as Dave Hook. They know who my kids are, my family is. They like me, hopefully, and they trust me, and the feeling's mutual. What I found out, whether I was on my rollerblades going to those 3 communities or whether I was just meeting somebody cold at the house, it took me about 5 hours per human being to earn their know, like, and trust. It doesn't happen the first time we meet them. It takes some interaction before those 3 things become true. Would you guys agree with that? Yeah. And so here's where I need your calculators. In order to build a database of 250 people, and that's where we recommend people start, 250 people. In order to build a database, 250 people, and interact with them by cold calling or open houses, nothing wrong with those. I've done them and will continue to do them. Or going door to door, any of those strategies. In order to do a cold, 250 people times 5 hours a person, how many hours is that?
1,250.
1,250. If you go back to this business, what I netted, not what I grossed, and hours that I put in, my dollar per hour was $83 an hour. That's what I got paid. And at the end of the year, net income divided by hours worked, $83 an hour. What'd you say it was? How many hours did I spend to build that database?
1,250.
1,250 at $83 an hour. What's that come to? How much money? How much of my time? 1,250 hours at $83 an hour. 103,750 of my time that it took me to get 250 people to know, like, and trust me when I started cold. Everybody go to their phone and go to your contacts. You would just go to your contacts. And on the upper right corner, there's an arrow. Just shift to that and yell out how many contacts do you have in your phone?
650.
615. Who else? 284. 315. 4,700. 1,643. Did anybody beat 4,600?
No.
4,600 the winner. 4,600. 4724. All right, that's the winner. 4724. I didn't hear anybody below 240. So might it be true that in all of those people, if you went through and put them and exported them onto a spreadsheet and highlighted them, that you've already spent some time earning the know, like, and trust of maybe half of those people in there? That if you saw them at the grocery store, you'd be like, oh, I know. I kind of like them.
No.
And if we went through our social media accounts, maybe 20% of them that we friended, we'd like look at them and highlight, and be like, yeah, no. I like this person, and know I like my choice. And we spent time with those people in our life outside of real estate. They're not just our clients, those people. They're like friends and family of friends and family of friends and family. And so if it took us $103,000 of our time to build a database of 250 people going out and meeting new people, and yet we already have 250 people in our devices and in our world, we just haven't spent the time to build the list. What if we just, what we found is on average, it takes 10 hours to go into our devices. It takes our agents 10 hours to go into their devices, their social media accounts, and highlight the names of people that they've already spent the 5 hours gaining their know, like, and trust. It takes 10 hours. What's 10 hours at $83 an hour? What's the number? $830. $830. What was the first number?
1,200.
103,000?
103,750.
So it took me $103,750 of my time to build a database by going out and earning the know, like, and trust of new people, which is what most of our agents do when they start in real estate. They go out and try and earn the trust at 5 hours a human, just like I did on my rollerblades, and they spend $103,000 of their time. Versus the smart agents realize they've already invested 5 hours per human of people, and they're already in their devices over the last 20 years of their life. And they just take 10 hours and they build, and they just write their names there. And they put it in a spreadsheet. And they do something that's really unsexy and unattractive. It's called list building. But it saves them $102,000 of their time to build an asset called a database. And so the reason that the database works so much better than every other lead source isn't because it's magical. It's because you've already built the trust, and it's the only lead source that you can say that about. Out of the 21 lead sources that my team gets their business from, that's the only lead source that the trust has already been built. And so the strategy with the database isn't to go out and meet new people and build trust. It's just to give value and love on the people that you already do know, like, and trust. That's the whole strategy. And because of that, it has a higher, our data says that it has a higher return on investment and return on time than any other lead source that we have. It's a very predictable and scalable side of our business. So for every 10 contacts in our database, one of them goes to settlement in the following year. So if we want to sell 50 homes and serve 50 families, we need 500 people in our database on a 36 to 50 or 60 touch program. Okay. We want to sell 25 homes, get 250. We want to sell 100 homes, get 1,000. And it amplifies the rest of our lead sources. So if we buy Zillow, if we do open houses, if we run radio, all those are amplified because we have an audience that knows, like, and trusts us in the community. So that's the math on pre-built trust. We already went through that. You guys did that math. You understand the reason to build a list. A couple lead sources. These are probably 5 years old, but a couple lead sources. You can see, Zillow, for every dollar we were spending, we were earning 3. Expired FSBOs, for every dollar we were earning 13. And our database, for every dollar we were earning 31. They're just a different return than the rest of our lead sources. And it scales. So 1 in 10 in our database converts to.
After that last slide.
Yeah.
Take a moment to really look at those conversions, because so many times, especially newer agents, some even experienced agents think that Zillow is the holy grail. Like, that's how you're going to get deals. But look at those ratios right there. That
So
tells the story.
the first number is how many dollars you spent.
Yeah, if I spend $1, when I spend $1 in Ops City, which is
Break even.
previouslyrealtor.com, I break even, get about $1 back.
Zillow, you spend $3 to get one.
No, it's Zillow, I spent $1 to get 3.
Oh, okay.
Yep.
So the first number.
Fire
So the
FSBO.
database is what you really.
And again, it's not because the database is magical. It's because I spent $103,000 on those leads of my time. I already bought the leads, you guys. You already bought the freaking lead. Stop buying the other leads of people you don't know. You already purchased the lead in your phone with 5 hours of know, like, and trust. The strategy becomes real simple when you get that. Don't spend new money. Get this first.
Just got
You just got it?
it. Just got it.
Right there. That's it. You already bought the lead. Stop buying new ones. Don't do anything else before you pick the lowest hanging fruit. You already bought the lead. Imagine if I bought a bunch of Zillow leads at $500 lead and just set them in my CRM. I was like, I'm going to go work up now. I'm not talking to those people. $103,000 in Zillow leads sitting there. I'm not talking to them. I'm going to go do openings. Right? I already bought the lead. I already spent my time. Just capitalize on it. The investment's made. All right. And it amplifies the rest of our lead sources. All right, so real quick, here's where you take some notes or take a picture. So this is like the simplest thing to do, but nobody wants to do it because it's not sexy or attractive, right? It's called list building. So we just time block 2 3-hour time blocks, and that's it can be a 6-hour time block to start, but 2 3-hour time blocks, that's about enough. It's about as much focus work as I can do. And then you're going to prepare a little spreadsheet. I'm going to show you a copy of one. And then you're going to go through a couple resources and document the people that you believe that you know, like, and trust. And then you're going to research their contact info and input it. And then you're going to connect with them and say, I'm sorry. I'm going to tell you about that. And then you're going to put them in a database. Sound good? Okay. So we're going to go through Exhibit A, which is something that I can show you at the end that asks you a lot of questions and prompts you to think about who you know, like, and trust. It'll get you about 150 for most people. Go through your social profiles, go through your cell phone, through anybody you've emailed that's saved in your Gmail server, if that's what you use or whatever you use, and export those and highlight. These are the people I know, like, and trust. Really simple, but boring. But that's how you build that's an asset. You're building an asset. It's the only asset, by the way, the real estate agent business has is their database. It's the only asset. If you're ever going to build a business that runs without you, that's the main part of what you're selling. And so invest in the asset first. And then you're going to put it in, get the public record and grab mailing address. If you got the info out of your cell phone, you're going to already have their cell phone number in there. And then from there, we're going to say, we're going to connect them. Now, you can just make this your own. It's not a script. We like to use dialogues, not scripts. So it can be a text or it can be a phone call. I'm going to just, hey, Brock. So I might pick on Brock. Hey, do you have a moment? Yeah, sure. Yeah. Hey, Brock, it's Dave, the realtor, over here. This is a business call. I wanted to check in with you because I was talking to a mentor at my real estate office, and I feel like I dropped the ball, and I'm just calling my friends and family to apologize a little bit, and let you know about a new way I'm going to do business. Is that all right?
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah. So he was just saying how a lot of realtors like keep in touch with their friends and family when they're going to buy and sell because that's when they're going to get paid. And he was saying how he keeps in touch with his friends and family in their home ownership experience when they're not buying and selling. And I just thought that was, I felt bad because I'm the guy that shows up when I get paid and not when like you're in your home. And so I'm just running like a new VIP program where I'm going to keep in touch with my friends and family during their home ownership experience to let them know of vendors that can take care of their house or maybe an interest rate change where they can get a refinance with a lender. I don't get paid for any of that stuff, but just keep in better touch with you, send you information that can help you. Is that okay if I include you?
Yeah, that's fine.
Great. I'll follow up with you from time to time, at least 4 times a year. I promise you that. And I'll send you some information that'll be valuable about your home and your neighborhood. And we'll be in touch.
Awesome.
So I want to do permission-based TCPA compliant marketing, which is just connect with them and let them know you're sorry for not keeping in touch with them around their home ownership experience. And it's a really easy call to make. And then once you apologize and get the permission to do that, then we can actually follow up and do what we said we're going to do, because now we have permission to do that. All right, so we're going to throw that information into our database. Command is a good place to start. And we've now built our database. Then we're going to feed it. This one's really easy, a time block at the end of every month, 1 hour. And just put in the notes of that time block, that appointment with yourself on the 30th of every month, add 5 new contacts. And that'll force you to go back over your emails and your calls and your calendar for the month and look at the 5 new people that you've earned their know, like, and trust, and just add them to your database. All right, so you're going to grow your database month by month. And then last thing, we're going to communicate with it. And so what we do to communicate with our database is we do 12 direct mail pieces, 4 items of value in the mail, 36 emails, 4 client events, and 4 TCPA compliant calls. Why would I do direct mail? Why wouldn't I just do email?
No one checks their email. Everyone checks their mailbox.
Yeah. What we found is that if you start with email, which if you want to hire John, like he has an entry level, just digital email, very, very low cost, or you can do that yourself. You can get by with that for a year or so if you make the phone call and let them know that you're going to be doing this and get the permission to opt in. And then you'll have a significantly higher open rate than you expect when you do permission-based marketing. And you apologize and you can like look out for this, you're going to get it. And that'll work for a while. But the unsubscribe rate over the course of a year, 2 years, 3 years will go way up, and gray mail will go up, and your open rate will go down. And so what we found is that the way to make sure we have 36 touches on a database is to do 60 to 70 touches with a variety of media. And so we do email, We do direct mail, we do items of value, we do events, which gets us face to face, and then texts and calls to invite them to the events. Does that make sense? Okay, almost done. There's 6 dialogues that we have. Another time I can come in here, I can role play any of these dialogues with you. I'm going to give you a handout at the end, not a handout, but a link that your market center can share with you that has written out these 6 dialogues, so that you can use them to call your database. And they're the exact dialogue that I use when I used to call mine. So the first one's the apology. And then there's a check-in sequence that we use: home ownership dialogue, items of value survey, client event invitation, how we ask for business, and the nonprofit. And so all of those are designed for you not to feel like a salesperson, that you're like burning through relationships, but that you're actually loving on your people with value that they're going to thank you for. Usually in the course of my real estate career, when I would get through a call using one of these dialogues, before I asked for business, they would often say, I wish I had somebody to refer you. You do such a good job staying in touch. And so when you actually come with significant value, your database will want to refer you because they want to reciprocate. They want to reciprocate. Okay, and so just examples of what type of collateral we're sending out. So 3 different types of emails. John's team does those for us. We don't do any of it. He puts them all together. He puts the listings in there, the calls to action, free downloads for the seller's guide, and all that. There's hooks in there and targets, and it drives them to our website. He prompts us to do a little handwritten note that he designs, then prints it on all of them. So a little postcard with a handwritten note, newsletter, 4 events, and then 4 items of value that are thick, like a referral directory of businesses in the community to use that can pay you. Those businesses can pay you for ad space and 0 cost this. So we have 25 businesses that pay us. That wasn't always the case. We used to do it ourselves, but over time you can get some vendors to pay you for ad space, notepads, calendars, things like that. Let me get you out of here to lunch. About 2 minutes. I'm not going to go into AI a lot. I want to. Can I click on this, Brian? Yeah. There it is. So your office is going to raise your hand if you've seen these 3 AI playbooks for real estate agents. Okay, we got 2 or 3. So your office is going to be introducing these 3 playbooks to you over the next few months. And these are artificial intelligence playbooks that are just designed for real estate businesses to show you what you can do with AI that maybe you don't know you can do with AI to help streamline your real estate businesses. So without going into too much detail with this now, I just wanted to point to the large language model playbook, which is the middle one. As you get back to the sections that have, it's towards the end, yeah, all this stuff. There's a 36 touch framework right there. Here's social content creation, message matching, newsletter generator. So just know that one of the things that you can do, I got to get back to this. There we go. One of the things you're going to be able to do when they introduce these AI playbooks to you is, if you're doing it on your own, or in my case, John's team does this all for me, he still prompts us to write a 2,000 character blog to our database that goes in our newsletter, because he wants the voice to come from us. So we can go, my CEO can go into AI and do a specific prompt using that prompting strategy that says, act like you are a real estate agent in Carlisle, Pennsylvania, targeting people that you know, like, and trust, which consists of 1,500 people in Carlisle as your audience. And please provide 2,000 characters that cover the following topics. That's going to give nuanced information about Carlisle and their home's value, or whatever it is. And then she can go down through that, and she can, edit it and make it her own voice. Really, if you're using something like John to do this for you, it can get the whole thing down to about 10 or 15 minutes a month in order for you to have a full touch program going onto your database. If you're using AI. Before AI, I was able to, when I was doing it, I was able to type the 2,000 character thing in the handwritten note that he prompted me to do. And it was about an hour and a half a month. So you can really get it down to, it's not a lot of investment, but AI is going to streamline that investment for you even more. This is the last thing. We're going to send this to your office. So this is just a gift for you. And for those of you who maybe don't have any budget and you want to start where I started when I was 25 or 26, I wrote this myself, and it has everything in it that we talked about today, how to build, feed, communicate. And then it has a checklist for you with action items that you can print out and use to build your database. And it gives you the boundaries and then how to feed it and then how to communicate with it. And the way that this has you communicating with it is no budget. So it's the things that I did when I didn't have any money. All right. So if you want to start with this, and then you can start adding on to it as your business grows, this gives you a really easy checklist to get to 36 touches. And then it has the plan there. It has where to find your content to like come up with ideas. And then it has all of the dialogues that I talked about are in there for you to communicate with your database. And then the last thing in here it has is this exhibit that prompts you to, it's a database building exhibit, prompts you to come up with those first 150 names for you guys. I think that is getting close. If you want to learn, grab John afterwards or go to this website. John, raise your hand, John. That's John. John was my second buyer's agent on my team. And then he had a marketing degree and he graphic design and he started marketing for our real estate team. And then he built a marketing business and now he does marketing for my team and 40 or 50 other clients. Go to Rooted, ROOTEDVC.com, rootedvc.com if you want to do a free strategy session with John. And then if you could take your phones and just do that QR code for me. We like to give this talk to market centers. It would mean a lot if you just give me a little bit of feedback on what worked, what didn't work. In there, you pull it up. There's, I don't know, 5 or 6 questions. It won't take you long. And throw it in there. And that's another way if you want John to reach out, he can that way. And then lastly, to connect with me, you can reach out to me on private message me on Facebook. If you have questions about this, or you just are like, what did you say on that thing? Or how do I talk to my database this way? Just PM me on Instagram or Facebook. We have a real estate team up in Carlisle. Love your referrals. We have a cash offer program for investments, John's stuff. If you want marketing done for you. If you know somebody in financial crisis, you have a family member in financial crisis who's in an accident, or somebody at your social circles or a church, we have a nonprofit. We'd love to donate money to them. It'll come anonymously. They won't know it came from our team. You'll get the check. You'll deliver it to them. So just go to projectlamplight.org if you would like to submit a need for a friend or family that we can serve. We have a couple brokerages up in Harrisburg and Enola and Mechanicsburg. We have a hard money lending business. If you have any investments and we can fund them, we'd love to fund them. We do 11% and 2 points, 6 to 12 month loans. If it doesn't have a septic system or a furnace or, it's in really bad shape, we don't care. And you don't have to put any money in it and we'll cover the renovations as well. And I think that's everything. You guys have any questions?
Can you go back to the previous slide?
Yes. Yes. Okay. Sorry. There you go. A little bit over. Is that all right?
No one laughs.
All right. That's good. Thanks for listening.
Okay, to finish up here, we got the giveaways. Pick 'em up. Like that.
He's not leaving.
All right. Good and cool.
First card is Liz.
Transaction monthly or one of these three of them. Okay. Next one.
Neil?
Oh, Neil. Monthly or one of these three items here?
The white box.
This guy, the bigger one?
The color one.
The far one, the solo stu, okay.
Thank you.
Right here.
For sure. Said 2 months in a row. These two in the monthly.
No, I didn't create them.
Wait, what do you, this,
So,
it's another, it's like a geo fire. You want that one?
yes.
Okay. And 2 more things.
Lucas.
Lucas, monthly or this little Stanley you can give to your girlfriend. Your whatever the monthly fee is. The monthly fee that you get charged. Anybody wants to go to Rocksteady, please?
And Madison on Skinny.
Awesome. Guys, just because of the awards that we're gonna be offering meeting to the last Friday of March. You know, we'll send out invites and stuff, but just make a note of that. Food's in the back. Thank you, guys.